Good morning and welcome to Tom the Som on the Florida Wine Guy YouTube channel. Today we're here at Wilamette Valley Vineyards and we're going to be talking about some of the wines that they have here in Oregon. Wilamette Valley is pretty much synonymous with Burgundy and Pinot, but today we're going to try some white wines, then we're going to move into some reds. This first wine that I have today is a Gürtelveltliner. For those of you who don't know what Gürtelveltliner is, it's actually a grape that comes from Austria. It has similar properties to Riesling, but also Pinot Gris. So let's go ahead and give it a sip. Light, bright acidity. Definitely got that nice lemon lime type citrus component. We'll try some more and I'll be back soon. Cheers. The next white wine we have is actually a Chardonnay. It's from the actual wine founder, Jim Bernot. It's the Bernot Block Chardonnay 2017. Let's taste this wine and see what we find out about it. Quite nice. Light, little bit of light mallow, a little tartness of like a yogurt, but also too green apple, green pear, very refreshing. And I'm going to enjoy this with some Oregon Tillamook cheese. Cheers. So our next white wine for this morning is going to be the 2017 Estate Chardonnay here from Wilamette Valley Vineyards. Let's go ahead and check this out compared to the last one we actually just had and see what the characteristics of this Chardonnay is actually. Bright acidity, actually less mallow than the previous one, so there's less of that secondary fermentation. There's also more of a grassy and lemon note to it. So quite tasty for those people who don't like secondary fermentation. There is still some in here, but it's very subtle and very noticeable towards the back part of the palate. So cheers. All right, so we're now moving into our first set of reds. This first red is a Pinot Noir, and I love my Pinot Noir, especially those from Burgundy and Oregon Wilamette Valley as well. This one is from Wilamette Valley. It's from the Elton Vineyards, a partnership done with Wilamette Valley Vineyards, another consortium here in Wilamette Valley. These plantings were done back in the 1980s, and just off the nose, it reminds me of that lovely area of Burgundy, the Pommard area where Pinot originated from. So let's go ahead and give this a smell and a taste and see what we've got here today. Nice, deep, rich, smooth cherry, a little bit of raspberry, a hint of strawberry, but good balance, good tannin, and good acid make this a regular go-to Pinot that Oregon's very known for. Cheers. We're now moving into our next set of reds, and these are still also Pinots, but this one is actually their Estate Pinot, and it's from 2019. So let's go ahead and take a smell, but I can already tell by the color it's a little lighter than the previous one that I had. So let's give this a smell and taste and see what we find out here. Yeah, the cherry notes on this is a little more tartar than the previous one, in addition to the color being lighter, but also too, there's a hint of more of the deep rich raspberry. I'm not getting any strawberry notes, but also too the spices that are from the oak give that a little bit of pinch on the back end of the particular finish. So not bad, but also too more typical of Oregon Pinot versus Burgundy Pinot. Cheers. So this next Pinot that I've got is a 2017 Bernot Block Pinot, similar to the owner from the Chardonnay style, but this particular Pinot though, compared to the previous two that I just tasted, is actually, I find to be in the middle. It's darker than the last one, but not as dark as the first Pinot that I tried. Also too, on the taste profile, this Pinot has more of a black cherry note, as well as a little bit more of like a boysenberry component to it, as well as a little bit of raspberry. But the baking spice though, versus the other one, which was more of like a 5-star type spice from the char of the barrel, this has got a little more vanilla in it, a little less of the tannic quality than the previous one. Quite good. Still not my favorite though. My favorite still has been that first one, the Elton Pinot, which truly tastes more like a true Burgundy Pinot. Cheers. So our last Pinot of the day is going to be this 2016 McMinnville Pinot, which is basically the heart of Willamette Valley. A lot of good Pinots come from this particular region. Just off the initial nose, I'm getting that smoky charred quality of both the aging of the barrels in addition to the actual grape itself. So let's go ahead and finish through this wine here and see what we find. Very bold. Actually, almost slightly just a half a step bolder than that first additional Elton wine that I actually tried. Quite good. Aging very well though. 16. This is like 5 years now in bottle. Fruit structure is still quite pronounced, even though it's 5 years old. The tannins and the acidity and alcohol are quite well balanced, but the fruit profile on this one is definitely more red cherry, and I'm getting more strawberry notes, but a little hinge of black raspberry, which adds more to that smoky complex flavor. And it's got a pretty good mid-palate finish as well too, so another one I would put on par with the Elton. Enjoy. Cheers. So now we're moving on to our next set of reds. We're out of Pinots now. Now we're going into some other grape varietals that they do here at Wilamette Valley Vineyards. This one is the 2017 Griffin Creek Grenache. Grenache, basically also known as Grenache in Spain, is primarily a blending grape, but it can also be done as a single varietal. This one, however, is a single varietal, and because of the actual particular notes, it's going to taste much different than the Pinots we had earlier. So let's go ahead and dive into this one a little further. Definitely still more fruit forward. More of that blackberry, boysenberry, and a little bit of blackberry note to that. But it's balanced with the aging of the oak in addition to the fruit components. It doesn't have as much staying power on the finish though as that previous Pinot that we had, but a good red drinking wine if you're going to have something like some grilled lamb chops, maybe a nice ribeye steak, some baked potato with some butter and sour cream, would pair nicely with this wine. So cheers. Moving on to our last wines of the flight today. This one we have right now is the Griffin Creek Merlot. So unlike the Grenache I had earlier, this is more of what I would call your fruit bomb type style wine. It's very fruit forward. It's got a lot of things going on. So let's go ahead and dive into this one a little further. And tannic structure is there. Good color, but yes, definitely loaded with fruit. This has got cherry, raspberry, strawberry, a little bit of cranberry. Just chock full of also too a little bit of blueberry even in there. So not a bad Merlot, but Merlots are not really my favorite wines to begin with anyway. But still, quite interesting wine. So grab a glass and enjoy. So our last red wine of the flights today basically is the 2016 Griffin Creek Syrah. Now this one, color-wise, is the darkest of all the wines we basically have today. It's got very good color characteristics for a Syrah. So let's dive into this wine and see what we get for fruit profile and structure. Oh yeah, good classic bold Syrah. Lots of tannin, more body. Acidity's really up there. Alcohol content is high, but the fruit characters of this wine balanced with the baking spices. I'm getting that little bit of that clove, nutmeg, baking spice from the kitchen type of thing that's coming from the oak on this. But the fruits are like really out there. We got plum, we got dark cherry, black cherry, blackberry, and a little bit of boysenberry. But overall, for a good bold wine, For my fellow Syrah and Cab people, this would be a good wine to actually go ahead and put on your deck for drinking. Cheers. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Florida Wine Guy, and please share it with your friends. To purchase any products, please go to our website, https://mytdwine.com. Again, https://mytdwine.com. And if you have questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like to see on this YouTube channel, please email me, tom@mytdwine.com. Again, tom@mytdwine.com. Cheers!